Have you ever wondered
What your life looks like through somebody else's eyes? Every single one of us is living as though we're the main character in this story. Our victories, our failures, our heartbreak, our reasons. Everyone else, they move in and out of our lives like supporting actors. The bloke who made your coffee, the old woman you walk past, the apprentice at work, the person you cut off while driving, the ex-girlfriend, the stranger next to you at the traffic lights. They appear, they disappear, and your story moves on. At least that's how it feels, but that's an illusion, because every one of those people is the main character too. Their life doesn't begin when they meet you, and it doesn't end when you leave. You simply walked into one scene of their story. To every one of them, you're the passing character. You're just somebody who appeared in one chapter of their life. Maybe only for 5 minutes, maybe for many years, but you left many fingerprints that you will never know about. Imagine this. You're invited to watch your own life in a quiet room on a big screen, but not through your own eyes, through everyone else's. Every person you've ever crossed paths with. You don't just watch, you experience it. You become them for the duration of the show, and you get to feel exactly what they felt when they met you. You become the new kid at school. You spend all week working up the courage to ask if you can join in. You finally do. The younger version of you looks at him, then looks at their mates and says, "Nah, we're full." In reality, you forgot about it before lunchtime, but they carried that feeling for years. The belief that maybe they just didn't belong. Then you're a young bloke at work. Someone makes a mistake. You tear strips off him in front of everyone, including the new kid. It gets a laugh. The young guy drives home wondering if the same will happen to him, if he's actually good enough. He carries the harsh words that you spoke. Then you're standing in a supermarket. The checkout girl gets your change wrong. You roll your eyes, speak to her like she's stupid. You've forgotten about it before you reach the car. She cries in the lunchroom. It was her first shift. You never knew. Then comes the relationship that ended. Not the argument you remember, the silence afterwards. You experience what they felt the moment they realized you'd already stopped listening to them long before you stopped loving them. Then you become your own child. You're sitting in the crowd at a school concert. You keep looking toward the empty seat. You understand for the first time why they kept searching for your face. You weren't trying to hurt them, you were trying to provide. But intentions don't always become memories, actions do. Then something changes. The screen keeps rolling. You become the bloke whose tire you stopped to change. The elderly neighbor whose bins you quietly brought in every week. The young fella at work you defended when everyone else was picking on him. The waitress who'd been screamed at all day until you simply smiled and thanked her. The little kid who waved from the back seat and lit up because you waved back. You become the stranger who heard you say, "I'm proud of you." Words they had waited their whole life to hear. You don't remember saying them. They never forgot hearing them. Then you relive every joke, the ones that made people laugh, and the ones where everyone laughed except the person it was about. You finally understand why they smiled while wishing the ground would swallow them. You relive every argument, not to find out who was right, but to discover the exact moment you realized you were wrong and chose your pride instead. You feel every disappointed look that you caused, every frightened glance that you ignored, every pair of eyes that lit up because you walked into the room, every heart you helped heal, every heart you helped break, not because you were evil, because you were human. None of us wake up hoping to become the villain. Most villains never realize they're playing the part. The worst things we do rarely feel like the worst things when we're doing them, because in our own story, we always know our reasons, our stress, our exhaustion, our intentions, but everyone else, they only experience our actions. That's why kindness matters so much. Not because the world needs more nice people, but because we'll never know which 5 minutes of our ordinary day will become somebody else's lifelong memory. When your life is finally measured, it probably won't be by promotions, or houses, or the balance in your bank account. It may simply be measured by the number of people who felt safer, stronger, more loved, or more broken, simply because you happened to walk through their story at that time. Every one of us is writing ourselves into other people's lives every single day. The only question is, when they remember your chapter, how does it make them feel?